So one of my really good friends said something to me and it has stuck to me since the day I met her. But she said, we all have really deep, dark sides to us that I just accept, you know? I'm kind of an evil person inside and I accept that. I think in the same way, I wish people were quicker about accepting that they might be a terrible person. And to tie it back to today's video, you might be weaponizing therapy. All those things that you say about other people, they have red flags, they're gaslighting, they're manipulative, blah, blah. You might be that too. And instead of being defensive and be like, I could never, like I went to therapy, I'm a good person, I think it's okay to ponder it. Ponder and ask yourself, like, am I? Am I just as bad as the people that I talk shit about? And actually sit in the discomfort of that question. Now, before I get into the main meat of this video, there's a disclaimer that I like to say. Any kind of video you see online or anything you read that has to do with introspection and reflection and our experience of the world, always apply it to that like tarot card thing. Take what resonates and leave what does not. And have the media literacy to understand that we are all talking from a place of different life experiences. If you're like, what the fuck is this girl with a mic talking about? Valid. What the fuck am I talking about? We're probably two different people. We do not see eye to eye, and that's okay. You are welcome to leave anytime. But if you watch it and you're like, wow, this is a different perspective I had never considered, I'd like to explore this, that's super cool too. So without further ado, let's begin. Firstly, I think therapy is an incredible tool and everyone should experience it, with the caveat that it is only as effective as the person using it. You know what I mean? If you go to therapy, but you don't ever take the time to actually internalize what's being learned in therapy and applying it to your own unique human life, it will not be effective. If you're just looking for quick solutions, quick words to cling on to make you feel like you're an introspective person, you're a bullshitter and you're definitely weaponizing therapy, and people should be afraid of you. And I know that's a crazy statement, but I think it's true. I will say to some degree, I definitely weaponized therapy, and I was like a therapy tyrant to some of my close ones a couple years ago. I grew up in a feedback loop of validation, right? When I was helpful, I was affirmed. When I was selfless and generous to other people, I was finally appreciated. I gained a lot of my self-worth through how useful I was to other people. And I think most people who grow up in that environment tend to become people pleasers, which is exactly what I grew up to be. I was very much a people pleaser way deep into my mid-20s. It wasn't until I met narcissistic people that I began to realize there are people who get away and get the things that they want without being a completely selfless, generous, people-pleasing person like I am. And maybe that was a wrong way to learn it, but it was the lesson that I learned that kind of snapped me out of extreme people-pleasing behavior. I think since realizing that and going to therapy at the same time and learning these words like fucking boundary setting, it rocked my world. So boundaries to me are one of those big therapy term and concepts that can easily become weaponized. If you don't really understand the technical definition of it and you don't take the time to internalize it and apply it to your own unique human life, it can end up being way more harmful than helpful. Honestly, looking back, like I was so evil to a couple of my loved ones in the name of boundaries. I kept saying like, oh my God, I sound like those like evil men that women talk about on the internet where like they weaponize therapy and such. But I was like,
I care about this relationship with you, which is why I'm enforcing this boundary on you, because I want our relationship to get better. So please fuck off, don't talk to me that way because this is disrespectful.
you know, that is what I sounded like. I was setting boundaries left and right, girl. I'm telling you, if you bring down my self-worth, boom, you are jailed. To me, like, I do not see you, do not talk to me, don't you dare. In the name of protecting myself. When I was dating, I was like, how dare you do that one act? You disrespected me. Boom, jail. Like, I don't even care who you are. I don't care about your backstory. You do not deserve my compassion. Goodbye. I became so brutal with my boundaries. Because why? This is me respecting myself. This is me finally giving myself the time of day that I had never granted myself in the past. And I weaponized the shit out of my boundaries. And I know I hurt so many people when I was first learning how to set a boundary. And the point that I must absolutely drive home, your boundaries will only be as effective as how well you know yourself. And I'm a big analogies girl, so I'm gonna use this, but imagine like I have a pet, his name is Jupiter, he's a cat. Imagine I wanted to build like a little protective playpen for him. If I don't know what Joopy is like and what he's capable of doing and what he needs protection from, I cannot build an accurate protection wall system for him, right? Like, he can jump extremely high. He can also slither in between cracks because he's skinny. And so if I did not know that, I would build like a really strange wall for him. Like maybe it's like only 5 inches high. Like that, girl, that would not work. So to bring this back to the human example, you cannot build boundaries for yourself that are effective unless you've done that inner work of like, where do I need protection? Who am I? I think the whole thing with weaponizing therapy is that people don't actually want to do the hard work. They just want quick solutions. Okay, boundaries. You're gaslighting me. You don't care about me, blah, blah, blah. Everyone wants to point fingers first before looking inwards and doing the work themselves. And I can only speak to this because I was at that point before where I just created so many arbitrary boundaries in the name of protecting myself, in the name of protecting the relationships that I cared about. Like a big example was I really shut my mom out for like a full year because I wanted to improve my relationship with her. And the only way to do that was to jail her when she disrespected me, you know? And I apologize for it. Here's what I learned over the years, right? I think first you need to have so much grace for yourself as you're figuring out who you are. I think it's like growing pains, you know, like literally growing pains. When your legs are growing, your fucking muscles are gonna ache, right? It's gonna hurt. So as you're doing this introspection and the hard work of reflecting, I think you need to understand that it is going to be a very arduous journey. And when you're not able to give yourself that grace, I think you're going to outwardly project all of that pain of figuring out who you are onto other people. I think that's why I was so hurtful towards my mom in that period where I was coming to terms with the fact that I had been a people pleaser for so much of my life, not mainly because I loved being generous and kind, but also because that's where I got so much of my self-worth from. I people pleased because it gave me a reason to feel relevant. And coming to terms with that was so painful that I outsourced a lot of that by lashing out onto the people around me. Dang, I don't think I've ever verbalized that out loud. But yeah, have grace for yourself as you're learning who you are, and it's gonna be very scary, and you're gonna see weird, uncomfortable versions of yourself as you explore that path. And the most support that I can offer you as like a girl on the internet is that it's gonna be hard, and I did it, and there are versions of me that my loved ones have seen that I'm not proud of and I want to apologize for. And that's okay, and that's what it's gonna take. I feel like even this version of me that I'm presenting to you, I hope in the future there are parts of me that have developed too. I don't think this is the final version of me, and I don't aspire to have a final version of me, if that makes sense. I wish people were more comfortable with the darkness within themselves, because I think that's where true growth comes from. When I was younger, I wanted to believe that I was good so badly that I never engaged with these big scary questions. Who am I? Like, am I a bad person? Am I evil? I never got around to asking those questions because I just so badly didn't ever want to think that I was that person. But it was in direct confrontation of those questions that I think I finally grew from it. Honestly, like the core of being a good person for me was actually being able to apologize for any of the hurt that I caused to people. It's okay to have unsettling thoughts. I think that's human nature, and I think that's okay, and we shouldn't run from it. Confronting scary thoughts head on might actually open up a path where you're seeking the right resources for yourself and might lead to a much healthier and better person. So have grace and so much compassion for yourself. And honestly, thank you so much for listening. I feel like this is a really public documentation of my feelings, but I appreciate your attention, and if you stay till the end, it obviously says a lot about you. I'm rooting for you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.